I needed a change, so I resigned from my job. I needed to get out of the house, get away from email and Zoom, quit scrolling Instagram, and be out in the world. Amanda knew how inherently I needed to get out and explore, and she was incredibly supportive. I hatched a plan to head for Cape Spirit near St. John's, Newfoundland, the farthest east you can drive in North America. I set to preparing myself mentally for a 2-week solo journey and getting the Forerunner ready for a 6,000-mile overland journey. Just doing the final preparations on the truck, did a wash, cleared off the chassis underneath, trying to get things in tip-top condition so if anything does happen down the road, it'll be a little bit more visible if everything's super clean, easier to tell if things are out of sort. And then if you do have to work on things, you're not getting dirt and sand and crud in your eyes. There haven't been a ton of changes since last time we went out for Iceland. I think the biggest is, if you can see up here, there's a couple new wires going up into the tent. So we've connected the auxiliary battery up to the tent now. So we've got access to all that power up in the tent. So we've added dimmable lights. We've got MagSafe chargers for our phones, USB charger for our iPad, and then there's just additional power up there if we ever decide to run anything. We've increased the size of our battery. I believe when we went out for Iceland, it was in the like 540 watt hour range. Now we're up to over 1200 watt hours. And part of that upgrade is there's an app so that the battery can update our status on how much charge we've got left. We've made a couple changes to the electronics inside the cabin. We got the new Garmin Tread overland units. This builds in the inReach capability in case we need to use the satellite to get a hold of anybody or just send a message back home every night and say, yep, everything's still all good. So I've been playing with product design a little bit and designed a little mount for it. So this is the mount that the Garmin comes with, and there's a magnetic and mechanical attach. And I built this bracket using a 3D printer, worked this up on Fusion 360 and took a number of different trials to try to get this perfect, but it just inserts into the CD slot. And I've got this like chameleon tape that really holds it in there really well without leaving any residue. So it's temporary, but gives enough of a hold that if you're on a shaky road, it's not going to fall out of there. And then I've been working on a handpiece mount for this as well. I added a magnet to the back and then this little bracket that I've added up in Fusion 360. It helps so that you've got enough room for your hand to go in if you've got a beverage in the cup holder, and then holds the screen up at a better angle, so it's just easier to get to. The magnets click it in, so it's just less thought and less activity trying to get it into the right position. And then cell phone charger. Before I had a physical mount that physically grasped the phone. Now I've got a MagSafe mount that, again, it's just really easy to get the phone up there where you need it. But those are the major changes. Everything else has been tiny little tweaks, just trying to get everything super perfect. While things have mostly stayed the same with the rig since Iceland, we've had some other changes in life that have been a little bit more major. So I'm going to be rolling solo this time. Amanda and this little one are going to go visit some family while I'm out seeing what Canada has in store. At this point, we've got everything loaded into the truck as far as stove, camping gear, the tent on top, all my fuel, fridge is back there, still have yet to get food. But the problem that I'm running into is that I've got a ferry that will take me to Newfoundland, but they're having some issues with a new boat of theirs So they've canceled reservations for any boats after when I'm going to the island. So there's no way to reserve a boat off of the island, which means that in principle I could be stuck on Newfoundland for a while. Still trying to get some information. It's currently Tuesday afternoon, trying to leave Thursday morning, so not a whole lot of time to figure this out. So as usual, in the last minute here, it's going to get a little bit interesting, but wouldn't be an adventure without some hiccups, and hopefully one day we're looking back on this and it'll be entertaining. Again, I've managed to get everything into the drawers and have space left over. I've decided I don't think that I want to bring the shovel, and I don't think that I want to bring the Max Tracks. Those could be famous last words. I'm bringing my rigging equipment, so all of my D-shackles, soft shackles, tree savers, stuff to run the winch, rear recovery point for the hitch, basically anything to get somebody stuck or get me unstuck, but crossing my fingers that I won't need that. It's Wednesday now. Been packing all day, loading up the fridge, getting all of my clothes figured out, and continuing to hit the refresh button on the Ferry website, trying to get passage back to the mainland. I started trying to book this over the weekend, which already felt kind of late, and wound up calling the ferry. They explained the situation where the new boat was having some mechanical issues, so they were trying to shuffle people around, see if they could get them back in the event that the new boat was unable to service them. So since Saturday, I've been trying to get this done. It's now Wednesday night, leaving tomorrow morning, and just moments ago, they finally opened up one of the routes to take bookings back to the mainland. That's a huge relief to be able to go to bed tonight knowing that I've got ferries to and from where I'm trying to get to. The ferries are booked, the bags are packed, the fridge is full, and tomorrow morning we'll head out in the Forerunner one more time, see what's out there. It's 6 a.m. Wow, it's 6 a.m. Got the Red Bull. It's time to head out. Let's get started. So before we get too far, got my route punched into the Garmin. Let's see, 2,677 miles, 47 hours driving time. That's just to get to Newfoundland. Also of note, we're just about to clip over 60,000 miles. The plan was to push as far as I could reasonably go each day as a solo driver. I set a goal for the trip to only sleep in the tent and to only eat food that I prepared. To keep the wheels turning, I cooked on the road. I'm at my first fuel stop and I'm taking a frozen breakfast sandwich, putting it in the Hot Logic, and maybe 45 minutes or an hour, should have a piping hot breakfast sandwich to eat. Oh yeah. Slow cooked to perfection. Then as a bonus treat, I get to find all the crumbs that came off this croissant later. Alright, lunch has been cooking for a little while, but it's time to show you what's been cooking on the I-70 kitchen. It's Grandma's secret recipe right there. That is not bad. Not bad at all. There's at least 12 herbs and spices in here. At least. Salt is one of them. Arrived here at camp and cooking pizza pockets. It's a pretty sweet setup out here. Bon appetit. When dinner was finished, I set up camp and crashed so I could get back on the road early the next day for another hard push across the eastern U.S. Later in the day, I approached a familiar landmark. We're just about to reach Portland, Maine again, so having little flashbacks. There's like the smell of the pine trees in the air that I remember from last time, and a gas station that I stopped at before town just over there. Unfortunately, it's a little rainy, and my campsite is just a little bit past Portland, so probably not going to get to spend time checking things out like, I'd been hoping to ever since I visited Portland for the first time. So, leaving that box unchecked, and we'll come back another day. Trying to start thinking about making dinner. We'll see how things go with the weather out there. I just hit crazy rain, some of the strongest rain I've ever encountered. But there's like no wind or anything, just like crazy intense heavy rain. And that only lasted a few minutes, but the spitting rain, it's been kind of through this whole corridor through Maine. So see if it clears up, maybe cook something a little more fancy, or might just be pulling snacks out, calling it a night early. Last night was a little bit late, and yeah, I'm just tired of being on the road and don't need to do any dishes if I don't have to. Got a nice camp set up here. The awning came in clutch when it was raining when I got here. It's still kind of raining, but not so bad now. And then a great view of Cusco Bay out there. Got some grilled cheese cooking up. Got a few suds to crack open. And yeah, chill out for a little while. Enjoy this view. I've got another miles day today, going from Maine all the way through Nova Scotia. Today will be my first international border crossing. So we did the Iceland border crossing, is more like an importing, but this time crossing from the United States into Canada. I think that the documentation requirements are fairly straightforward, just driver's license, proof of insurance, proof of citizenship, and that should get us through. Fueled up today, ate a little bit of breakfast at camp, enjoyed the scenery a little bit. Been waking up crazy early. I think anybody else that sees me awake at those campsites must think that I'm absolutely crazy, because wheels were turning before 6 a.m. But what's nice about that is the roads are just super wide open, so I've got it on cruise control, and today's supposed to be a little bit shorter than yesterday. I think yesterday was supposed to be 11 and a half, wound up being 13 with traffic through Boston. Today is supposed to be 10 and a half, but we've got a border crossing in there, so we'll see how it ends up shaking out. I've successfully made it into Canada, so that's exciting. It's been raining all day. It's kind of setting in how far from home I am. And this is 2.5 days hard driving, like only stopping to use the bathroom and to sleep, of course. So starting to feel really out here. It's been kind of interesting to see the landscape changing and the architecture changing. Now we've got the language changing. There's French on most of the signs. And then the units changing, so miles are gone and everything's in kilometers now. So it kind of, I don't know, there's a little unsettling feeling with all of this. And then there's also some kind of clunk in the front end. I think it's the skid plate that I put down there. I don't think it's any of the suspension. When I get a better chance to get under there and do a more thorough inspection, maybe I'll feel a little bit more comfortable. But Yeah, between the gray and all the changes and knowing that I'm in a different country from the rest of my family, it's incredibly beautiful out here, but, comes with I don't even know how to describe it. Lonely, definitely lonely. Yeah, maybe that's the one. Yeah, we'll get through it, and I was expecting it a couple of weeks ago. I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to do this trip just mentally, and the amount of tax that it takes on you to be in your head so much and be alone so much. And this is only the beginning. You can't just get rid of those emotions. So maybe once we've got some sunshine, or I've made it onto my boat to Newfoundland, I'll get some boost in morale. As the day wore on, I got farther from the population centers in the US and closer to the end of the continent. A mental shift started as the road narrowed and civilization began to fall away. I don't know, I wanted to set up the camera to record some kind of reaction. Just kind of gobsmacked. I'm just zigging and zagging in and out of all these coves. It's just kind of serene and quiet. There's not a ton of people out. There's cabins and houses here and there, but no stores or anything like that to speak of. No traffic. It's just, I don't know, extremely peaceful. I don't know if you can capture this in like a video clip. I think you have to be out here and go through these motions and experience this emptiness over time, kind of get what the effect really is. I was thinking a little bit on the way in that maybe I'm starting to feel more like a parent. I guess what I mean by that is I'm starting to feel the effects of being away from my family more. Amanda's been sending me photos of her and Sloan at the pool, but you definitely do feel like a void that you're missing out on that time. Even though this trip is only going to be 2 weeks, it's a lot of time for a little 1-year-old. She was just starting to say some words as I was leaving. Just starting to wave goodbye. What I'm trying to say is I'd much rather be doing this trip with Amanda and with Sloan. I am looking forward to one day being able to go on these adventures, go see the world and make memories, gain new perspectives. A few hours later, I set up camp at the end of the contiguous continent. I was excited to have cell service and FaceTimed Sloan and Amanda shortly after getting to camp.
Ready to show Daddy? Yeah. Oh, should we put it in the tub?
Sloan? Oh, you going bye-bye? Bye, Sloan. Where you going?
Yeah. Come here, Daddy. Yeah. Oh.
As I was hanging up the FaceTime call, I had a visitor trot through my camp. Maybe this was a sign from the cosmos that even if we're rolling solo, we're never truly alone. I set to cooking dinner and setting up camp. I knew I wanted to do a more thorough walk around, and a closer inspection revealed some important fasteners were missing from the long miles.